This course is brought to you by Appy Pie as part of our Academy series.
In this video, I'm going to be creating a customer avatar. And to keep with the previous example, I'm going to be using that same sheet that I created earlier, where we found out about the freelance copywriting market using the online observer technique. And here, this is all language copy and pasted directly from people that are in our target market. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to create the customer avatar sheet using this as a reference. Now, if you remember from an earlier video, there are two options that you have for creating that customer avatar template. The one is the PDF that I created for this course, which is just a written down version of the digital marketer customer avatar worksheet. And if you remember from an earlier video, I said that I much prefer to work with digital marketer's worksheet because of the way that it's laid out, but I'm not allowed to attach that to this video itself. So if you want to download this worksheet, just go to the end of my PDF and click on the link at the bottom. Ultimately, it's up to you which one you want to use. Both of these, you can type directly on them and fill them out. And for the sake of this video, I'm just going to be using the digital marketer template. And now I'm going to go back to our customer language document. And whenever I'm doing this, I like to have one on one side and the other on the other half. So that way I can easily reference the two. And the first thing that we're going to do is just review our customer language that we got using the online observer technique. Now, this is the exact document that I ended up with in the last video when I completed this exercise. But when you go to do this for the target market that you want to write copy for, I highly encourage you to get more information, gather more of that customer language than I have here. And this reason why I gathered this amount of language was just because I didn't want the video to be too long, but there's no limit to the amount of time that you could spend researching your target market. And in general, I would recommend at least an hour or two of just browsing these different marketplaces where your target market hangs out, and then recording that information to really get an idea of what that market is looking for, what their pain points are, and what kind of solutions they want. But like I mentioned, I'm just going to be keeping with the last example to make this course consistent. And using this as the inspiration, I'm going to do the best job that I possibly can to fill out this customer avatar worksheet. And this is never 100% science. This is really an art form. So I'm taking my best guess based off the language here, but ultimately there is some guessing. I don't know exactly what their challenges and pain points and objections are. I could figure that out if I were to get one-on-one on a phone call with someone or with a couple people. But since we're doing the online observer technique, I'm just going to take the best educated guess I can using this information as a reference. And I encourage you to do the same. So the first thing is the demographic information and the name, age, gender, marital status, etc. For this, there is no right name to put here. But the reason why we're putting a name and all of this very specific information is when we go to write our copy, we want to write it as if it's for a single individual. And the best way to do that is to actually put a name to this person. And even better is if you've worked with someone in this target market before and you can find a picture of them online, print out that picture and keep that right in front of you as you write your copy. And that way, the entire time, you can imagine that you're writing your copy specifically for that person. Even if 1,000 people are going to read what you write, it's important that you wrote it for that single individual. And that way, whenever anyone reads your copy, they're going to feel like you wrote that copy just for them. So now let's get into this. For the name, I'm going to put Elizabeth Jones. And the age, I'm going to say is 42. The gender is female. Marital status is married. Now, again, a lot of this I'm assuming because this stuff didn't come up in the pain points or the solutions when I was doing this research. But if you've actually interacted with someone in person and you know this stuff, that's awesome. And when I look at freelance copywriters, I'm actually going to change this because I imagine that the average freelance copywriter is younger than this. I would say in their 30s. And this is based on the experience I've had talking with other freelance copywriters. Now, keep in mind, just like I mentioned before, you're going to want to do more research here, so normally you'd have more to go off of. I'm going to say no children, and location is Santa Monica, California. And now let's start with the challenges and pain points. So the pain points here is building their portfolio. So I'm going to say building her portfolio, finding her first clients, and no confidence as a newbie freelance writer. And then the challenges usually go off of these pain points, and we can figure that out if we start to read their actual language. So here it says, trouble is I'm not sure how many writers this device applies to. Or it's just that most of us are not very good at writing good sales copy. So I could say one of the challenges here is doesn't know how to write sales copy. Gets overwhelmed by online training and finds them tedious and monotonous. So those are challenges that prevent them from finding solutions to their pain points. Need more practical advice. And then I'm going to go to the quote. So what's a quote that best summarizes this person's mindset? I'm just going to say words are powerful. And another thing to keep in mind is if you're not seeing any of this information in your research and you don't think that doing more research is going to give that to you, like the quote is definitely one of the trickier ones, feel free to leave certain parts of your customer avatar blank. We're doing the best that we possibly can here, but it doesn't have to be perfect by any means. The fact that you're just putting this down on a sheet of paper that's organized is going to help you tremendously when you go to write your copy. And the occupation, I'm going to say, in most cases, they're already a freelancer. And same with the job title. And their annual income, this is going to be the best guess because I didn't see anything specific about it in the customer language document. But I'm going to say $50K per year. Level of education, college graduate. And I'll leave that blank. And so the next thing is goals. What are their goals? And the main thing that came up as I was talking to other copywriters, and we can confirm this looking here, is they want financial freedom. So the goal is financial freedom. And one of the goals that I saw when I was interviewing one of the people that wants to become a freelance copywriter is they want to share their message with more people. So I put that down as a goal. Ability to share their message with more people and have them take it seriously. And then when it comes to value, one value that I see a lot with this target market is personal growth. They always want to keep growing and learning. So I just put learning. And then down here, objections and roles. Objections are reasons why they might not want to purchase any of our products or take the action that we want them to take. So I'd say one thing here is cost is a concern because they're freelance copywriters. They don't have the largest income, and we can see if their annual income is around $50K. Now, keep in mind, I know this is a lot of guessing. I'm not trying to hide that fact, especially because I'm going off of not much information here. But ideally, you're going to have done a lot more research and gathered more customer language and taken the time to go through it and or be more familiar with your target market because you've been working with them for a while. So that way, what you're filling in this customer avatar worksheet isn't as much of a guess as it is for me. So cost is a concern, and time investment. They're already very busy. And next up is the role in the purchase process. Now, what that means is if someone's in a large organization, they might not be the one that has to authorize the purchase, even though purchasing your product is going to benefit them. So maybe they need to get someone else's permission in the company in order to purchase your product. Now, because we're working with freelancers, we don't have to worry about that. So in this case, they're the buyer or the purchaser. And the last box here is sources of information. And here we can just write down what books are they reading, what magazines are they checking out, what blogs and websites are they most drawn to, what are the conferences they're going to, who are their gurus, and anything else that we come across that would be relevant for them. Now for this example, I don't have enough information to fill any of this out, but if any of this stuff comes up for you as you're doing your customer research, definitely put that in this box. In this video, I walked you through my process of creating a customer avatar worksheet.